So I'm still doing cheap European vehicles, but this time I went big. This is a 2006 Range Rover Sport, and I paid $1,500 for it. So let me show you around. So the elephant in the room is the air suspension. These are known to have problems. Now, some people do coil conversions, but this is actually sitting level on its functioning air suspension. Another issue Range Rovers are known for, especially the non-sport models, is up to 2006, they had a BMW engine, which was mated to a GM 5-speed. This doesn't have either of those things, and this one starts with no issues. So let's get in here. This is the 4.4 Jaguar engine, mated to the ZF 6-speed, and you know, it's all here. I mean, even the panel that covers the battery tray came with the car. It's just in the trunk right now, and things look pretty good so far. The only thing is, you might not be able to see down there, the belts are in horrible condition. They are really cracked. That's going to be one of the first things that get done on this car. So as you can see, the engine bay is pretty clean, and that's because we cleaned it. But if you look on the hood, it is nasty. Like you can actually see here, it was wiped down right here, and it's just like this all over. It's just really dirty, and that's because this car has a story. So the reason it was $1,500 at Copart is probably because it sat there since 2020. So the whole pandemic, it's just been in their lot. And it was probably there while they were sorting out all the paperwork, because looking at its history on the Carfax and trying to piece pieces together, it sounds like there was a lot of paperwork to sort out, and then by the time the auction came up, they were just done with it. I won the car for $1,400. They countered me at $2,050, and then they let me have it for $1,500. So, yeah. So sitting in a lot for that long, it can lead to some problems. So let me show you one of those problems. So when I picked up the car, actually on the top, this was all taped up, and the button inside was taped over. So someone had noticed it, but these cars are known for issues with the sunroof seals and the sunroof drains. So especially unattended for 2 years, things get clogged up and you end up with leaks. So the sunroof has a drain that is supposed to come down somewhere out here and let any water drain out. And then there's a second one that goes to the back. And those two got clogged up.
Or they disintegrated.
Or disintegrated, because that's another possible issue. And this was drenched, just soaked, and it just sat soaking and smelled. I mean, you can even see mold marks. This is going to need a deep clean, and I'm going to try to reach in. Oh, it's still wet. Yeah. So, yeah, the interior is going to have to come out. Get a deep scrub, steam, and then more ozone, because I've already ozoned this car for, you know, some basic safety. So if you do end up with a car, any car, and you notice things like this, anything like that, be careful. You know, don't let it scare you off, but, you know, wear a mask, a respirator, and, you know, take all the precautions you can to protect your health. So that is the major issue with this car. It does mean the interior is going to have to come out. It does mean massive amounts of cleaning. But, you know, oh, and it does also mean, you know, everything on this side, all the trim got wet and stained. This is all going to need to be worked on. I mean, the headliner is sagging. That's pretty common. That'll get glued back up. Besides that, there's, you know, small stuff like, you know, you can see the seats were resprayed. There's like leather dye on the metal here. The Dash pad is cracked, which is very common, and common enough that they make these or $150 panels that will cover it up. The steering wheel is frankly nasty. It's really rough. The leather suffered a lot. This seat needs some TLC, cracked. But it does come with, right under here, a fridge. So I bought a $1,500 fridge. But it performs very well off-road. It's got this cool little knob. All the air, ride heights work. The shift knob probably needs to be replaced. And so far, that's really it. I mean, it's gonna need interior, deep interior clean, belts, sunroof seal, which I already have, the sunroof drains, which I already have, and we'll be installing. And what else?
Brakes.
Oh, brakes. Yeah, the brakes are a little tired. They've, you can kind of see in there. It just needs normal update. And then beyond that, just a clean, and it'll be ready to drive and go off-road. Back here, things look good too, and there are just some little things to take care of, like the hitch cover, but overall it's in pretty good shape. It should be ready for its salvage inspection soon, but after that it's just little things like a window switch cover, and visual details like panel wear, and the wood finish cracking. Something that's nice is that all the tires here were mounted in late 2019 based on the Carfax report, and they're all matching, which is nice on a salvage car from an auction. As we've seen on the Mercedes rebuild, they don't all come with decent tires. So that's our walk around. It's a little short because this truck has a salvage title, so we can't drive it. Also, it feels like a health hazard to be in there even with the windows down. We were getting headaches just sitting in there for a few minutes while getting it off the trailer and moved into the garage, so we're avoiding that until it's cleaned. Now, as I mentioned, this truck is a story. We did some research and found some interesting things. According to the documents we got from Copart, this truck went to Copart in May of 2020 and sat there until late 2022 when we bought it, which is already unusual. But it gets weirder. We did a bit more digging, and between Carfax, auto auction histories, and other documents, we ended up with more questions than answers, but here's what we know about this truck's weird history. The truck was sold new in North Carolina, spent most of its life in North Carolina and Georgia, until it was traded in and resold in 2019. 4 months later, the truck was repossessed and sold at IAA. It didn't have a key, the suspension was aired down, and it was pretty dirty. After that, it was sold to a dealer who got a new key made, recolored the seats, recovered the driver's side seat bottom, and got it ready for sale. Just in time for a huge COVID-induced slump in car sales. So at this point, the truck is sitting around costing this dealer money, and somehow it suffered undercarriage damage and was written off. As you can see, there's no damage we can see under here, except some scuffs from being picked up by a forklift at Copart. Since it took 2 years to get the title to finally sell it at Copart, it's possible that the insurance company fought the claim, but in any case, it seems suspicious. It's all good now though, because we got the title when we picked up the truck, so we just need to get it back on the road. What do you think? Did we get lucky buying this running and driving Range Rover with working air suspension for only $1,500, or are we just going to be drowning in problems? Let me know in the comments. Come back on Monday to see what happens when we try to get this truck started, and finally start figuring out what's really wrong with it. If you enjoy watching me work on cheap European cars, like this $700 Volvo I rebuilt, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.